Welcome back. We are here for the final viewer submission from the second round of viewer brews. This is Big Butts by Pigzit. I don't think Pigzit called the deck this, but this is a much better name. So what are we doing? This is the creatures have their toughness matter deck. So the main two things here are Assault Formation, 2-mana enchantment. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Also, green, target creature with defender can attack this turn as though it didn't have defender. And 2 and a green, creatures you control get +0/+1 until end of turn. And Huatli the Sun's Heart, 3 mana, 7 loyalty. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. -3, you gain life equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control. Technically, this deck doesn't have to be green because Huatli is hybrid green-white, and there is another effect in blue-white, High Alert, which basically does the same thing. Allows creatures to have their toughness be their damage and allows defenders to attack, but green offers up a number of other cards that I think make it worth being in Simic colors. So, what else do we have in the deck? Oh, this is Bedrock Tortoise. 4 mana, 0/6. As long as it's your turn, creatures you control have hexproof. Each creature you control with toughness greater than its power assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. It's the worst of these, but I kind of just wanted one more copy of this, or rather the deck was like one card short of being completed. So Bedrock Tortoise over here as the 9th card that is toughness matters. Then we're of course going to have a bunch of creatures with huge toughness and assume that we can always play Assault Formation or Huatli. So big toughness is Aegis Turtle, 1 mana, 0/5. Sidisi's Faithful, 1 mana, 0/4. When it enters, you can sack a creature to bounce another creature. And of course, Arboreal Grazer, 0/3 reach, ETB, put a land from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. Then on 2, we've got Dragon's Eye Savant, which is a 0/6. It also has a morph ability, but that doesn't matter. We're never going to do that, so whatever. Fae of Wishes, 1/4 with flying, and it of course has the granted mode. You may reveal 4 mana to reveal a non-creature card from the sideboard and put it into the hand. Tetsuko Umezawa Fugitive, 2 mana, 1/3 creatures you control power or toughness, 1 or less can't be blocked. So basically every creature in our deck can't be blocked except Pride. Reality Chip, 0/4. You may look at the top card. You can reconfigure it for 3 onto a creature and then cast spells and play lands off the top. And then we also have Tower Defense, 2 mana green instant. Creatures you control get +0/+5 and gain reach until end of turn. So we've got all of these draft chaff toughness creatures that we can then turn into super high power creatures via our toughness enabling cards. And then finally, the card that is the instigator of the deck, the Pride of Hulklade. 10 and a green for a 2/15. It costs X less, where X is the total toughness of creatures you control. So, our toughness is pretty high, so we can get this to be pretty cheap. And then it has Defender and 2 blue. Until end of turn, target creature you control gets +1/+0, gains whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw cards equal to its toughness, and can attack as though it didn't have Defender. So one thing when I put this deck together was, even though, yes, Assault Formation does allow you to attack with defenders, I really don't want to have to pay a mana every single time I attack. So I opted to play only creatures that just have high toughness and do not have defender, other than Pride of the Hulklade. Also, like, Huatli doesn't allow defenders to attack either. The only other card that allows defenders to attack is High Alert, and that's in blue and white, which would have meant having a third color in the deck, and that would have just made the deck worse in terms of its mana. So this is the basic structure that I've gone with here. Lands are pretty straightforward. It's a bunch of Simic lands along with a Forest Island, Otawara, Boseiju. And then the one standout land here is Access Tunnel. Taps for colorless, and it has 3 tap. Target creature with power 3 or less can't be blocked this turn. So it makes all of our creatures, or it makes any creature rather, unblockable, including Pride of the Hulklade. So speaking of the defenders, the only creature in the deck with defender is the Pride of Hulklade, which requires that we have multiple other defense creatures already. And it itself has an activated ability that lets it attack. So that's the end. It's, its toughness is enormous. So I figured that was good enough. Sideboard, I have no real idea what to do with the sideboard, so here's my thinking. We can play Gigantha, so we're going to do that. Shaper Sanctuary for high interactivity removal matchups like Rakdos midrange. A variety of counterspell suite, so Mystical Dispute for the blue decks, change the equation for red-green decks, or just any deck where we need to counter cheap stuff. Aether Gust for red-green decks. And then we've got Unlicensed Hearse for Graveyard Hate. Grafdigger's Cage, this is for Graveyard Hate / Amalia Hate, so stop Chord, stop Coco, that kind of stuff. And then we've got the Stone Brain to Cranial Extract various decks. And then we've got Mightstone, and Nissa Ascendant Animist. So because we have Fae of Wishes in the deck, it means hypothetically we can grab non-creature spells out of our deck. So I tried to think of what are the best, like obviously we can grab any of these aside from Gigantha with the Fae of Wishes, but what are like, if we're in some sort of grindy games where we need value cards, what are the best value cards that we can grab that are within a reasonable mana value? So like Ugin is obviously really good, but are we realistically going to have 8 mana? Probably not. Therefore, the ones that I've gone with are Mightstone, Weakstone. It would have been Sky Sovereign, but, you know, our creatures don't have power, so we can't actually accrue Sky Sovereign unless we have a combination of, like, multiple Fae of Wishes, Tetsuku, and or Pride. But mostly our creatures don't have power. So Mightstone, Weakstone is the closest equivalent to that. This also allows us to have an answer in our sideboard that kills Shieldred and that kind of thing. And then Nissa Ascendant Animist being the Planeswalker that I think has the most value in terms of putting relevant creatures into play with its plus ability. Also can destroy artifacts and enchantments, which may be relevant as well. So that's my basic thinking there. There may be other non-creature spells, and I'm sure there are, that I could have played in this and the sideboard for Fae of Wishes, but this is what I've come up with, at least for the first draft of the deck. So I'm very much looking forward to putting a bunch of creatures into play and having 1 mana 5/5s and plus 5ing the team. So let's go ahead and run the big butts through Pioneer. All right, we're on the play for round 1. Reveal Gigantha. Okay, this hand is actually acceptable, I think. It's a little short on mana, but I think it's fine. Keep. So, Shock and Breeding Pool, play Grazer, trigger, put Access Tunnel into play, over to them. All right, blue-white control it is. Surveils Hallowed Moonlight away. Come on, land. No. All right, let's get Assault Formation through their counter spells, I guess, and start hitting them. I really wanted to draw land there so I could deploy this plus Grazer, but 'twas not to be. Swing. Boom, 17. It is unfortunate that Get Lost exists and can therefore just totally invalidate this at any time. Also, Temp Lockdown's really bad for us. Ooh, a land. All right, combat. Swing. I mean, if they have Temp Lockdown, we just lose. So let's just play as though they don't have it. Chip. Top card is Grazer. All right, play Grazer. I imagine this would be not unlike how, you know, like a mono red aggro deck would function against blue-white, where like if they just got the Temp Lockdown, then you just lose. So, all right, no second white source. Let's go. 3 mana. Aww. All right, well, we can reconfigure the chip at least. Reconfigure. Play this. I guess play Grazer. Why not? We're not doing anything else. Back to them. Maybe one of the Defender Matters things should have been in the sideboard for Fae Wishes. I did consider that, but the only ones that we can fetch with it are Huatli and Assault Formation, which means that we would have to have 1 less in our main deck. Surveil. All right. Do I know whether this is... What's the next card on the top of my deck before I decide whether the shock? I guess I'm going to play it anyway, so let's see. I don't. Okay, so... all right, my life total doesn't matter against them. Let's shock. Oh, it's Boseiju. All right, All right, let's cast Granted. Nope, they got a counterspell. All right. Well, none of our creatures do anything. Cycle Sensor. No, I don't have Teferi. Yeah, Tower Defense. Well, I mean, I don't want to draw it, so we're going to cast it. Tower Defense. Cast. Haha, look at how tough they are. Aegis Turtle. Oh, it's Sidisi's Faithful. Cool. Play that. Oh, there's Huatli. All right, we can't play it this turn, though. Don't bounce anything, I think. Well, if Huatli resolves, they're dead, right? So I guess I should bounce... No, I'm not going to bounce anything. I was thinking, like, if I should bounce a creature back to my hand to avoid getting swept, but, It only bounces creatures, right? Yeah, okay. Nope. Do I want to just play Boseiju? I guess. No, I don't, because if they have Temp Lockdown, I want to kill it. All right, over to them. All right, plus Teferi. I watch your videos in 2 times speed. You sound so different on stream. I'd imagine so, yeah. I also tend to watch, like, League play. Oh, farewell. No. Okay, should we just accept that we're dead? Like, they have an active Teferi in play with multiple cards. We're drawing Huatli and have no creatures. We're not going to win. Let's just move on. Okay, so we want counterspells. We want Mystical Dispute, and we want nothing else. There's maybe an argument for Change the Equation, because it can counter some of their counters, but not all of them. It's probably not worth it, though. So, I'm going to say Tetsuko is irrelevant, because they barely have any creatures themselves. And if we're attacking them, it means our creatures are way bigger than theirs. And Sidisi's Faithful is also pretty bad because, like, who cares? We have nothing to bounce. Although, just as a 1 mana 0/4 is fine, I guess. Actually, Between that and Dragon's Eye Savants, even though Dragon's Eye is bigger, I think I prioritize having this one be cheaper. So let's get rid of Dragon Eye Savants. Do I want Shaper Sanctuary? They don't have that much spot removal, right? It's just March and Get Lost. I mean, that's okay, but they also have Sweepers. I feel like it's not for this matchup. Yeah, let's do that. I'm still not sure whether I would actually want this or not because it can counter their 2 mana counters. And we really need to resolve our Toughness Matters cards, but we have Mystical Dispute. That's fine. All right. So yeah, when I'm watching, if I watch a league of someone else, I usually also increase the speed, but not 2 to 3 times. It's usually like 1.25. Giganta. All right, we've got, this is a little awkward, but yeah, we'll keep. Play the blue side. Go. Tap land for them. All right, let's get Dragon's Eye into the play. We really need to draw another land because we need to be able to play Assault with Mystical Dispute open. Cast the Dragon Eye. Health Fountain Shocked. All right, so 100% they got a counterspell or something. All right, I feel like doing nothing is wrong. Let's just play Fae of Wishes. Okay, 3 mana. Oh, come on. Lockdown. God damn it. We really needed to hit a 3rd land there so that we could hold Mystical Dispute open. Although I guess if we had, they would have just locked down everything regardless. All right, play Assault Formation. We're still just bricking on lands really hard. We still just can't. I cannot believe we just can't draw anything. All right, pass, and if they cast Deluge, we'll dispute it. Deluge, counter, tap land, gets rid of Farewell. This is once again probably our worst matchup. They've got counter spells to counter the only important cards in our deck, along with enchantment removal and sweepers. Do I even play Fae of Wishes here and then they just cast the thing? I think I just keep holding up Mystical Dispute. I still can't believe we haven't drawn another land by now. They did nothing. Still no lands. Back to them. I can't fucking believe it. We're actually going to have to go to discard. All right. Clean up. I don't even know at this point. Let's discard Huatli. They're also just like not attacking us with the anchorage, so they must have instant speed stuff that matters. Shocking and Hallowed Fountain. Oh yeah, they've got Flashback Deluge. How have we still not drawn a land? I can't believe this. Yeah, Flashback, Dispute. We're 15 cards deep into our deck. Restless Anchorage, Animate. They still, even after countering that, they still just have 7 cards in their hand. And now they're just going to hold up counter spells. Can we draw a 3rd goddamn land already? Maps for an island. Okay, we finally drew it. Jesus. All right, let's play Fae. Temporary Lockdown. Awesome. Yeah, we lose our defender thing too. And then they can just kill us with this map land. Oh, they're just not doing that. All right. All right, play Turtle. Can't afford to tap out on Mystical Dispute. Although, what am I even countering? They can actually pay for Teferi. Animates the Anchorage. Swing. Makes a map. Can't block. Go to 16. Map. Reveals Teferi on top. Fuck me. All right, so I can go Turtle, Pride, hold up Mystical Dispute, which doesn't even help. Finally, a land. Okay, so Turtle, Pride, which costs 1 mana. All right, play this tapped. Back to them. I think if they do cast a fairy, I do have to fight it. Even though they can pay for it, it just reduces the amount of mana they have. Supreme Verdict. Awesome. All right, can't do anything about that. We lose our entire team. They're not even animating the map. Play Assault Formation. I mean, what am I even doing? Like, they're just going to play Teferi next turn. I can't even counter it. I have no creatures in play. I can put Giganta in my hand, but who cares? Yeah, we lose. All right, let's play matches that are not blue-white control. Round number 2 on the draw. Reveal Giganta. All right, keepable hand. Unless they thought sees Assault Formation. Then it's an unkeepable hand. Oh my god, more blue-white control. All right, shock this in. Play Grazer. Oh, I should have just... whatever. Well, F total doesn't matter. Grazer, put this into play. Over to them. Tap land. All right, blue. Assault Formation. Turtle. Attack. 17. All right, let's see the temp lockdown and we lose on the spot. Nope, no temp lockdown. Let's see the get lost on the Assault Formation and we lose on the spot. Play this. Combat. Swing. So this is 8. It's 10 if I just activate this, right? I guess if they don't have an answer, Tower Defense just auto kills them. All right, cast Tower Defense. Counter. Sure. All right. This exposes me to getting blown out by Verdict, but we can't really play around it. Land number 4. No Verdict. All right. Combat. Attack with everything. Otawara the Assault Formation back to our hand. Sure. So 0 damage. Replay Assault Formation. Shock this in. Let's get Giganta. Field of Ruin. Teferi. They can just tuck this. Yeah. Hey, this is 1 mana. All right. Target creature you control gets +1, gains whenever this creature deals combat damage to player, draw cards equal its toughness, and can attack. Okay, so Pride of Hulklade for 1 mana. Then Is it better to kill Teferi or is it better to just draw a bunch of cards? I think it's probably better to just draw a bunch of cards. Choose the Aegis Turtle. So blue, blue, combat, attack them. Yeah. So trigger, draw 5. All right. So play this tapped over to them. Tap land plus Teferi. All right. They did draw Verdict, unfortunately. So let's play, I don't know, Gigantha. No more lies. Yep. Apparently, you're just always supposed to kill Teferi. Fucking hell. All right. I can't really afford to play Salt Formation because I need to get a creature out that can actually attack this. Although they have a blocker. Play that. No exploit. Over to them. It's just unbelievable. Threats are so powerful that hitting your opponent for 5 and drawing 5 cards is actually worse than just dealing 1 damage to Teferi to kill it. It's insanity. All right. Grab some of this. All right, let's Beseiju this thing so they don't have a blocker. Oh yeah, you can get these Surveil lands off Beseiju, can't you? Assault Formation. I guess let's play another Assault Formation. If they've got Get Lost, they can just kill our guy. Like, combat, attack Teferi. Get Lost the thing. No damage. Let's cast another one. Map. Top card is another Assault Formation, so bin that. Map. Top card's Fave Wishes. I guess keep that. Tuck Sidisi's Faithful, and then play another Teferi, of course. Did this deck need a man land? Like, should I have put Hall of Storm Giants in here or something? Maybe. I've got 4 mana left over if I Fey. All right, granted. Oh, come on with the counter spells already. All right, we're not going to win. Let's just move on. So, Mystical Dispute. What did we cut last time? Dragon's Eye and Umezawa. 0 defense enabling cards is not keepable. Well, all right. Wow, this hand's really bad too, eh? We're going to 5 if I don't... We just have to put pressure on them early. Well, Jesus. All right, keep... We have to put 2 cards back. So we just have to naturally draw them because otherwise we're just going to lose anyway. Do I really need to ramp with Grazer? Not really. All right, Botanical, Turtle. All right, we drew it. We actually drew it. Salt Formation. Combat, attack for 5. Back to us. Play this. Go to combat. Attack. All right. Cast Fey Wishes. Tap, tap. Temp Lockdown. Lose the game on the spot. All right. I'm not continuing. Man, blue-white control really is just no fun allowed, eh? You have a wacky, like, off-meta brew, you just lose instantly to blue-white control. You have 0 chance of beating them. And since it's the #1 deck in the format, it basically means Pioneer is a no-brew format. On play for round 3. Reveal Gigantha. Okay, we're good. Keep. Botanical. Play the turtle. Over to them. Botanical from them. Grazer. All right, so Lotus Field. Temple of Mystery, not playing the Surveil land, or maybe they're playing it in addition. Okay, so if I play Grazer right now, it reduces the cost of this by 8, and it's 3 mana, which isn't enough. It's probably better if I just assault and start hitting them. Yeah, all right. Assault Formation. Combat. Swing. Good evening, Bonsai Shibe. Welcome. You've joined us just in time to see the big butts. Sylvan Scrying. Yeah, go find Lotus Field. All right, so if I play Grazer, I still can't play Pride, right? I'm still short. This cost. Yeah, it costs 3. Unfortunate. All right, may as well play this. I don't know. In case they have Beseiju or something. Combat. Swing. We're just going to be too slow to kill them is the problem. So next turn we can deal 10, which is not enough. Sylvan Scrying. Goes, gets Thespian Stage. Plays Grazer. Plays Thespian Stage. All right, they do only have 3 cards in their hand, and they do have to copy it. Combat. Attack. Chumps the turtle. All right, this is lethal next turn. Pride of the Hulklade. Let's go. We just have to fade 1 turn. Cycle Vizier. Thank you for the sub, Bonsai Shibe. Yeah, copies Lotus Field. 4 cards in hand. Hidden Strings, and now we lose. Bunch of mana. Assume it's all blue, so I assume that's pour over the pages. All right, so while they do their bullshit, this is your daily reminder of the cards that need to go from Pioneer. Lotus Field, Amalia, Fable, Thoughtseize, Treasure Cruise. I'm definitely forgetting some. Copter, Inti, Insidious Roots, Shieldred. Something from Blue-White Control's gotta go. Probably Emperor, if I'm being honest. What else am I leaving out? Quintorius, Mayhem Devil. Dark Petition. Would annoy me more to wait for them to click through everything, not gonna lie. See, the thing is, like, I can't actually concede here because I don't know. Maybe they won't hit it. All right, yeah, see? They didn't hit it. We won. Okay, Lotus Field. So we're going to want Dispute, Gust. It can change the equation, hit anything. It can hit Hidden Strings. It can't hit an Emergent. Hidden Strings alone might be enough for this to matter. Stonebrain, I also want main deck. Okay, so let's see. Bedrock Tortoise, I'm gonna cut. Okay, so the Fae of Wishes, there's 0 chance that we ever have time to cast Granted, so it's one of our worst creatures, as is Tetsuko. We gotta cut 1 more card, possibly the Reality Chip. Yeah, I'm gonna cut Reality Chip. I'm just thinking, like, do I ever have the time to reconfigure for 3 mana? Like, maybe. But I think I'm better off just going all in on the aggro plan, with obviously some of the slower stuff here too, but mostly aggro. See, our opponent cast Hidden Strings, Dark Petition, and Pour Over the Pages and still bricked, so you can't concede. Okay, we do have Huatli in our hand, but we don't have a 3rd land. We do have Mystical Dispute, though. All right. Man, the Access Tunnel here is kind of awkward. I'm still going to keep, though. We've got turn 1 Turtle, turn 2 Savant, probably. Yeah, all right. So, Tide Channel, Turtle. We do need to draw green land. 2 Balageds in a row, eh? Well, we still haven't drawn green, so cast this dude, and then just pass. I could have attacked with the Turtle to assert dominance, but, you know, I'm comfortable. I don't need to assert dominance. All right, well, we just don't have green mana, so play the Turtle. Go. I wonder, did I even need to do that? Because if I'm ever at the point where I'm attacking them, this is 2-turn lethal. Archdruid's Charm to go put Thespian Stage onto the battlefield. All right, finally green. All right, shock this in. The problem is if I play Huatli, then I'm shields down. So they untap, they have to clone, they have to copy the stage. Okay, what if I don't go shields down? What if I go... So if I play Grazer, then I have 10, 16, 19 damage on the following turn with Huatli. So I'm 1 short of killing them? Jeez. What am I even disputing? I guess I'm disputing a Pour or a Hidden Strings. It's only going to get worse for me if I keep waiting, right? All right, let's just play Huatli and then make them have it. Combat, swing, Sunfall, you say? All right. Well, play Grazer. The Incubator token can actually flip and trade with this. Jeez. All right, I'm going to force him to do it, I suppose. Actually, I guess Tower Defense can technically keep this alive. I don't care. I'm going to play another Grazer. Combat, swing. If they want to spend mana flipping this and trading, I'm fine with that. Yep, transform, copy. So block, we trade. Then let's play Grazer, and we'll play Assault Formation. Green, this one. That way, if they have, like... I guess if they have Otawara, they'll just bounce this guy, right? Mana, Pour, counter... They can pay for it, but at least it somewhat reduces the amount of mana that they have. Because we're never going to have, like, we're probably not going to have an opportunity to actually counter something. I could have maybe held on and tried to hit Emergent Ultimatum. Vizier. All right, we're once again in the waiting stage. I think they have more mana. Yeah, Emergent, we're dead. So usually it's what? Yeah, Omniscience, Pour, Dark Petition. So we put Omniscience back, right? I put Omniscience back. Dark Petition, Pour is 9 mana, and they get a bunch of cards. They have 6 cards in their hand already. All right, put Omniscience back. I wish Emergent Ultimatum just said you win the game. Because, like, it's so... Again, it's this whole thing of, like, you're 99% to lose, but technically they could brick, so you gotta play it through. All right, they have Omniscience anyway. Oh, wait, because they tutored for it. Temp Lockdown, Eat Our Guys, Chandra. They've got 2 Balageds in the graveyard. So now they can just loop, right? Leer. It doesn't matter. Even if they don't kill us right now, we're dead next turn. So let's just... All right, run it back. Huh. Is this keepable? We reduce the cost of Hullclade by 8, and we can play this on turn 3 and then turn 4 activate it. All right, I'll keep. Shock this in. Play Sidisi's Faithful. No sack. Plays Balaged. All right. Play Sidisi's. No sack. Play this tapped. Go. All right. Pride. Yeah. No attacks. Growth Spiral. I don't know why, but I haven't seen Lotus Field ever play this. All right. Lotus Field hits the board. Then they play a land, Grazer. So they can just straight up... This doesn't have trample or anything, right? So they can just straight up block this and completely eliminate me from doing my turn. I was hoping I would at least get 1 shot in with this thing. All right, activate, target itself. Blue, blue, attack. And they can just chump it with Grazer. All right, and now it's their turn, and they've got a bajillion mana and cards, so we're probably losing. 3 mana, 5 mana, Pour Over the Pages. I still don't even have them dead even if I activate Pride next turn. So assuming we don't lose, the best draw would be Assault Formation, because then I can just play it, target all of my guys, one-shot them. Or not target all my guys. I can just play it and target Pride and one-shot them. I guess Huatli is also a good draw. No, if I get Huatli, I can't attack with Pride. Oh my god, another Grazer. Lotus Field, sack. They sacked their Thespian Stage, eh? Well, there's Huatli. So land. This is only creatures that reduce the ability, right? All right, Huatli it is. Combat, I can only attack with these dudes. They're not blocking. I can put them to 2. I guess I'm going to do that. But bam, put you to 2. I don't know. I'll activate this thing. Why not? Gain 20 life. All right, let me read this really long comment while they do whatever they're doing on their turn. Question about Moto etiquette. Is it considered bad manners to attempt to win by letting the opponent potentially run out of time because they play a combo deck and it takes them longer to play out, which might matter in a best of 3? As an example, this deck you are versing right now, so Lotus Field, or the Tron Impact Tremors list in Pauper. Okay, so one school of thought is the Moto clock is part of the game, and if you can't win before you run out of time, that's your own fault, either for playing a deck that takes too many clicks / too much time to go through whatever it's doing, or you just need to play faster. I think the only thing that is 100% bad manners is when you intentionally take actions that cause your opponent to, when you're intentionally slowing down their clock by forcing them to take mandatory actions. Apparently we won. So things like you are activating abilities or casting spells that don't actually matter just so that your opponent is forced to click through priority and, and just slow down their clock. But even that is sometimes part of the strategy. So a classic example would be when you're playing against Mono Blue Terror in Pauper, right? And if you have Circle Protection Blue in play. Well, if you have Circle Protection Blue, they don't have anything in their deck that can bounce it. So technically, they can never damage you. But it does take time to, when they attack you with all of their creatures, you have to click Circle, you have to wait for the thing to go on the stack, then you have to click the ability on the stack, then you've got to click the guy that you're preventing the damage from, and you got to click every single thing one at a time, and it takes way longer as the defending player to do that than it does for the terror player to just attack with everything. So is that bad manners, or is that, hey, I have no way to win besides just making you run out of time, so I'm going to take my out? Anyway, we are on the play for round 4. We have 1 land, we have to mull. We're against a Giganta deck. Okay, this is good. We've got a curve into Huatli. So keep this, put back. I guess I'm going to put back one of these turtles because I'm going to go Turtle, Savant, Huatli. So put a turtle back. All right, shock this in, play turtle. Soulscar Mage. Interesting. Well, my creatures are huge, but at the same time, they do have burn spells to permanently reduce the toughness via the Soulscar Mage. All right, do I just slam Huatli next turn, or do I play another Savant and then attack with even more power? Viashino Pyromancer. So they are burn you to the face deck. Does the Sorin Galta and Mavrin list still see playing Pioneer? I mean, technically, but it's not like a tier deck. But that could just be because people aren't on it. Like, I do think the deck is good enough to see play. All right, so let's go Tide Channel, Huatli, and let's attack with just Dragon. Dragon Eye Savant. Swing. I'm not going to minus because I want to keep this at maximum and so that they can't burn it out. All right, they're at 14. Mountain number 3. Combat. Swing, swing at Huatli. All right. Block Viashino. That way, if they have an instant speed bolt spell here, it still trades. Whereas it wouldn't trade if I did it on Soulscar. Wizard's Lightning targeting Huatli. Okay, damage. Huatli goes to 2. Turtle kills the Pyromancer. And then they play another Pyromancer and kill Huatli, and now I don't have this effect anymore. Darn. Well, we do have a bunch of toughness in play. All right, let's put Giganta in my hand and play it next turn. Tap land, go. Attack, block, block. Wizard's Lightning on the turtle. Okay, turtle dies. 3 mana for Ferocidon, sure. Play this, play Giganta. Ramanop Ruins. All right, they've decided they don't have any good attacks. I agree. Play Savant. Yeah, I know it triggers that. It's fine. We just need to get toughness into play. What if I attack with Giganta here? They can dual block. You know what? I am actually going to attack with Giganta, so I should have done that before playing Dragon Eye. Swing. If they double block, that's fine. 5 mana. Sack Ramanop, sure. No blocks. All right. Play Dragon Eye Savant. Trigger. Play this tapped. Okay, we got a bunch of blocks. Den of the Bugbear. Gidu Lava Runner. They're at 8. Swing, 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 swing. So I block everything but Ferocidon. I take 3. If I block Ferocidon plus this, I take 3, so it doesn't matter how I block. Block, block, block. All right, so we're going to try to beat them via Giganta. What's in my sideboard that I can play on the cheap? Fae of Wishes for Aether Gust. Keep bashing them in with Giganta. Seems good to me. So granted, use ability, grab Aether Gust, combat, attack with Giganta. Sup, Tentorque? They have 1 card, they can't put Giganta in their hand. The only thing they can do is either whatever card they drew, play that, or activate Den, in which case we're still in a position to... Okay, they hit a land. So Den, combat. All right, if I'm combating here, what do I want to gust out of the way? If they attack with everything, I go block the Den, this guy, and I take 3, 4, whatever. It depends on how they attack, right? Or do I just gust Den of the Bugbear? Let's say they attack here. They're going to attack with Den. Otherwise, why would they activate it? So if we're sure they're attacking with this at a minimum. Okay, let's say they attack with everything. I go block that, block that, block that. We take 5, and then they're dead on the backswing. So they're not going to attack with everything. So if they attack with only some things, I can gust. Like if they only leave 1 blocker back, then I can gust that. So at minimum, they have to leave 2 blockers back, right? So by not gusting this, I'm basically just giving them an extra creature token. So yeah, let's just gust the Den. All right, they didn't attack at all. Drewing Tetsuko. All right, let's attack and see. If they want to trade, they either got to block with Frostodon or they have to block with every other creature. So let's go to combat, attack here, block with Pyromancer. They're just one-off blocking, sure. Well, I know they're going to draw Den, so I can afford to take some damage off of this guy. So let's play Tetsuko. Yeah, we take damage. Play Fae. All right, and then Tetsuko's unblockable, as is Fae. So we have him dead in 2 turns. What kind of crazy brew is this? Pioneer Big Butts. Wait, what? Oh, was it? Oh, they put it on the bottom. Okay. They put the Den on the bottom. Gotcha. I was like, what the heck is happening here? Neither of these have vigilance, right? So attack with everything. They have to block with Giganta. Or they have to block Giganta, rather. All right. Combat. Swing, swing, swing. So block there. Okay. If it's a creature with haste, I'm just blocking and surviving. If it's a burn spell for 3, I have no way around that. If it's a burn spell for 2, like Play with Fire, I should avoid playing Sidisi's Faithful. So just don't play Sidisi's Faithful. I don't need to do that. Actually, if it's any creature, the Frostodon kills them. So it has to specifically be a 3 damage burn spell. All right. It was not a 3 damage burn spell. We win game 1. Versus them, so I want Gust and change the equation in the main, and I want... The Tortoise is pretty slow, although it is huge, but it's pretty slow. I guess I'm on defense, right? So Tetsuko comes out and tower defense. All right, let's do that. Giganta's on both sides. Ugh, our only land's a pain land. It's good enough to keep, though. Let's keep it. We've got a blocker. We've got Huatli's and Aether Gust. Den of the Bugbear. Swift Spear. Ooh, Assault Formation. All right, play this. Play Grazer. Trigger. Put Axis Tunnel into play. Does this deck run the new 11 mana 2/15? Yes. All right, block. Make you have it. There's Play with Fire. I could have potentially waited a turn, but well, all right. It's more mana efficient to play Huatli. We just don't have anything in play right now, unfortunately. So back to them. If they attack Huatli, I'm at least saving damage on me. And if they don't, then it's just in play already. Soulscar Mage. Wizard's Lightning targeting Huatli. Like, against them, I'm fine paying for 3 mana, gain 7. Attacks Huatli. Huatli goes to 2. Can we draw a creature? No. Oh, man. I think I just pass and gust the Soulscar Mage. I don't know. I really want a toughness boost out already if I draw another creature next turn. So let's play Assault Formation. Man, both of our lands are Yavimaya. Because I'm thinking about Gust, but like gusting the Soulscar Mage is not great. We have so many big butts in our deck and we just don't have any of them. Pioneer mana base is rough. Yep. Well, I mean, not really. Like, we just happen to have drawn both coasts as our only fixing. Attacking us, attacking Huatli. So they have... No, they're just attacking us. They're not even bothering to attack Huatli. Light up the stage. Soulscar, Soulscar. All right, can we draw a creature next turn? Yes, it's a creature, and it's a very big one, too. So, Dragon Eye, cast this. Blue here. Roast? Really? 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 Roast? Roast? Really? Oh my god, they had another burn spell. We're gonna go to 1 and then Ramanop kills us. And actually we can't cast anything off the Yavimaya coasts. All right, block. Yeah, well, when our deck just doesn't draw any creatures, we definitely lose. Yeah, let's run it back. All right, Gigantas. This hand has a bunch of blocks and change the equation. We're gonna keep. Even though we don't have defense matters stuff, but, you know, whatever. All right, Grazer, trigger, put this into play. Over to them. A tap land. All right, Dragon Eye. Oh, I should have played Otawara. Whoops. All right, I guess I'm just not going to play Sidisi's Faithful this turn in that case. It doesn't matter. I don't need it out. Second mana. Swift Spear. Play with Fire on us. Sure. They scried whatever they scried to the top. Okay, play this. Play Sidisi's Faithful. No exploit. And then at this point, I'm just going to... Actually, I was going to pass with change the equation, but you know what? Let's just put Giganta in hand. Land number 3. Swift Spear. Fiyashina Pyromancer. We go to 16. They cannot get through all of our big butts. We are mooning them. Granted, you say. What am I gonna granted for? I guess Nissa would be the best pick, or Mightstone. If I Nissa on this, then I don't want a Phyrexian to hurt myself, and I also don't want it to start with 3 loyalty. So we got plenty of blocks right now. So let's just Granted, and yeah, let's grab Nissa for later turns. Back to them. Den of the Bugbear. Swing. All right. Block, block, block. Wizard's Lightning, targeting Zadisi's Faithful, sure. Opponent plays Pyromancer. We go to 14. Reality Chip. At this point, I feel like I just keep holding up Change the Equation for the rest of the game. But they have 4 creatures in play. All right, we got to get out something that can actually kill their guys on defense. So Fae of Wishes, play this. They only have 1 card. All right, play Reality Chip. Top card's a land. All right, back to them. So this thing blocks the Pyromancers in a way that actually kills them if they attack. It's also, if they activate Den, then it blocks the token. Soulscar Mage. They have 1 card in their hand, and they're not playing it. Okay, attacks. Well, block, 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 block. Nope, it's not a burn spell. We just got to kill one of their Pyromancers for free. Skewer the critics on the Reality Chip to kill it. Sure. All right, play this. Play Zadisi's Faithful. No exploit. Back to them, holding up Change the Equation, which I'm probably going to spend on Gigantha. Like, I imagine we're at the point in the game where they're just going to do that. Another land. They're just going to activate Den. Sure. Swing, swing. Not attacking with the Pyromancer. All right. So blocks. We get to kill this token off, and then we just block here, here, here. And we take a mighty 1 damage. There's their assault formation, so I can attack them for a lot. 4, 8, 14, 17. And they can attack me back for at most activate Den 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Unless they have a bolt, but then we can just change that. All right. Assault formation. They actually do have to block, or we just kill them with assault formation's trigger, or ability rather. Combat. Attack. They must block. No, you gotta block, dude. Yeah, there we go. Damage. They're at 9. Now we'll just pass back to them with Change the Equation up. Kumano. Nope, counter that. Counter that. All right, they've got the prowess. What will they attack with? 2 creatures. You die if you attack like that. Yeah. Block here, 4, 7. I mean, you're still dead if you attack like that, but sure. Whoo, boy. Combat. Doesn't matter. We're going to win with what we have on the board. Swing. Block, block. Activate assault formation. Pew, pew. 9 damage exactly. Beat mono red. All right, then. Math is indeed for blockers. Not really. I calculated everything before attacking. On the play for round 5. Gigantha. Okay, this is fine. We've got 2 drops into Huatli, or 1 drop that are really big into Huatli. So keep this. It is unfortunate that Yavimaya Coast is our blue land, but so be it. Yavimaya Coast, play Aegis Turtle, over to them. Also, we need a 3rd land. Llanowar Elves off the Temple Garden, sure. Yeah, blue. Blue, 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 blue. Aegis Turtle. Zadisi, dude, no exploiting. Should I exploit to bounce this? I attack for 10 at a time with the turtles next turn. I think I actually should bounce it. All right, sack, bounce your guy. It slows them down while not really changing my clock. Razor Verge, Thicket. Bishop of Wing. Oh, okay, it's angels. Gotcha. This is going to be a bit rough. Huatli. Combat. Swing for 10. Well, boom. 8. All right. Gyada. Gain 4 life. Plays the elf. Attacks with the bishop. Sure. On the Huatli. All right, they have to block both of these or they're dead. So, combat. Swing with the turtles. They didn't block. Tower defense. Ba-boom. 20 damage. Okay, angels. Change the equation to counter Coco and a number of other 2 drops, and that's it. I guess Grafdigger's Cage also, right? For Coco. But Coco's the only thing that it hits. It's still, Coco's really important for them though. All right, let's bring these in and cut. Definitely want to keep Tetsuko in this matchup. What do I not want? They have a lot of 4 toughness creatures, which makes Grazer a lot worse. Also, Bedrock Tortoise is slow AF. So I'm thinking these 2. All right, let's do that. Reveal Gigantha. What do we got? All right, curve into Assault Formation with unblockability. Excellent. Although, once again, the Yavimaya Coast is a little annoying, but so be it. Keep Razor Verge, Thicket. No play. Ooh, an island. Play Sadisi's. No exploits. Rush Land. Yada. All right. So is it better to play Salt Formation first or Dragon Eyes first? Probably get more damage going. Keeping them under a certain life total is important though. I don't know. Let's get Dragon Eyes out. And then we can go Assault, and then after that, Tetsuko. Yada attacks because it has Vigilance. 3 mana, 4. Righteous Valkyrie. All right. I mean, so my only attack is Dragon Eye. All right. So Assault Formation, Combat, swing here. So the problem is Giada is going to start making things really big. All right, they're at 14. Per angel, right? Additional +1 counter for each angel you already control. Land number 3. Play Skyclave. No! We lose Assault Formation. Well, we're probably dead now. So can't block them. Hawatli! This is 7 damage though, so I can't afford to attack with everything. Hawatli. Combat. Swing with Dragon Eye. Bunch of damage. Play this tapped. No activation on the Hawatli because it's going to take at least 5. This is per toughness, right? Angel or cleric, gain life equal to toughness. They're really in the tank here, eh? There's probably a lot of math going on their side, figuring out what they can afford to attack with or not. They obviously can attack with Giada, but I assume they're trying to figure out if they can attack with more stuff. If they have Skyclave, it would be a no-brainer. They would just eat Sidisi's and then kill Hawatli off. So yeah, I don't know what test in the chat means. Maybe it's like maybe Moto wasn't responding for them, so they're just testing to see if their actions go through. Invasion of Gobakon to make Tetsuko cost 2 more. They can also flip it immediately. So they can make their guys temporarily unblockable, but we can still cast Tetsuko. All right, so they gain 4 life off of the Righteous Valkyrie. So yeah, they're attacking Hawatli and the Invasion. We can't block. Invasion flips over, and it can make their team indestructible, but we can still hit them, but we can't hit them for lethal. We can hit them for 10. My problem is, like, yeah, I can hit them, but then they'll just attack on next turn and kill Hawatli off. I guess I can technically Beseiju this, but who cares? Because it can just do its thing regardless. Pump the team. Ooh, another Hawatli. All right. I probably have to spend my whole turn playing Tetsuko and just hitting them. And then we can cast the next Hawatli next turn to kill them. So this, cast Tetsuko. So they can't block. Swing. Take 10. This is going to die anyway, so I may as well gain some life with it. I can actually Beseiju this because I have Tetsuko now, which is a legendary creature. So I can stop before their end step, which actually doesn't matter, right? Like, as long as Tetsuko / Hawatli stick around, that's fine. So the only way this fails is if they've got another Skyclave for Tetsuko, Bishop, or just gain a bajillion life. That's another way. 6. They have 2 cards left. All right, Hawatli's dead. Yeah, I'm not Beseijuing that. The only way this matters is if they have an answer for Tetsuko / Hawatli, which I don't think they do. I guess I should not attack with Tetsuko in case one of the cards in their hand is a Gonjo. Just swing with these. All right, Hawatli. All right, we got it. The big butts have clinched it. 3-2. All right. Okay, so I like the deck. There's some room for improvement. First of all, the sideboard probably needs a lot of work. Secondly, like, I think the basic idea of what's here is fine, but it probably needs more work than this. I think the Tortoise is probably just bad and just shouldn't be in the deck. I don't like Access Tunnel, although I'd have to play more matches to see if this is ever relevant, but it feels like it usually isn't, and it's so expensive to activate. I would just rather have this be another colored land. I also don't like that I have to pay life off these Yavimaya Coasts, so if you ignore the Yavimaya Coasts, how many actual colored pips do I have per color in the deck, right? So there's a channel land and a basic in each color, which leaves me with 4, 5, 9, 13, 14. So it's 14 colored sources if you don't count Yavimaya Coast. So it probably just has to be Yavimaya Coast. I don't know what else could be in here. The slow lands are one option, but the deck kind of wants to play everything on curve. Another thing is the deck might want another reality chip. Like, there's times when this matters, maybe even more than 2. Also, I don't think the grazers matter that much. And additionally, so Fae of Wishes is in this slot not because the adventure mode is actually that good. Like, it isn't. So I think the deck should be built with mostly with that adventure mode not taken into consideration. But even so, there might be another card that's better than this on 2. I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up. There's, of course, the option to maybe play High Alert and a blue-white version. But the problem is if you play white instead of green, then you'd lose access to Pride. Unless you want to play all 3 colors. But the deck is already seemingly having some problems, even with just 2 colors. I think 3 colors is stretching it to a point that's not helpful. Although white does have a 2-mana 0/6, so that is one potential addition to it if you play white. I'm also not entirely sure how good tower defense is. Like, there were games where it came in handy, but you kind of like already need good stuff going on. You already need at least 2 creatures plus one of the Toughness Matters cards, and you already need to be hitting them. I'd probably want to fix up exactly which counter spells these are. I don't think Shapers is even that good. Probably can get rid of that. Mightstone and Nissa don't even seem that good even when you can Granted for them. So potential to change a lot of this. So we're looking at Bant color creatures in Pioneer that are 1 mana that have 4 more toughness. White obviously has a bunch of them, but I don't think I have a sufficient reason to branch into white yet. Merfolk Secret Keeper is another 0/4, and I initially disregarded it because I felt like the adventure mode is irrelevant, and so I was just going to play Grazer. But it's possible that it should just be Secret Keeper just to have more toughness. I want to avoid Defenders if I can, because I don't want to have to pay for the activated ability on Assault Formation. So Merfolk Secret Keeper is one of them. And then that's basically it, right? There's a million 0/4s in white. This Wall of Runes has Defender. Secret Door has Defender. So this is one consideration to potentially be in the deck instead of what's already in there. And then if we look at the 2 mana value creatures, so white obviously has a bunch. Giant Ox would be a draw to white, possibly Dauntless Dismantler depending on the matchup. Like this could be a sideboard card as well, but mainly Giant Ox for being a 0/6. Although I think when it comes to any of these creatures, it's much better to be 1 mana than it is necessarily to have even 2 more points of toughness. This guy having Vigilance is also pretty nice. But if we ignore the white creatures, obviously we're already playing Dragon's Eye and Fae of Wishes. There are other creatures that have 5 toughness, but they have Defender. Ghost Shintai has Flying, which may occasionally matter as well. Although he's legendary, so you'd probably only want to play one of them. There's also this guy, but his ability isn't that great either. You can basically just cycle him. There's also Rona, which loots, but I don't think you want that. This guy has Flash, although his ability is essentially irrelevant. Then obviously there's more reality chips. Surge Mare is also kind of interesting. The ability to loot, although double blue makes it worse, because then we have to have double blue on the curve for it. And then finally in green, there aren't really many options here either. There's also Gretchen Titchwillow in Simic, which is a 0/4 that if we just have a bunch of mana floating around later in the game, we can use. There's also Tide Drifter as a 0/5. So if we don't care about flying, which it depends exactly whether you care about flying or not, we could play this in place of some of the 2-drops, since technically it's an 0/5 that doesn't have Defender, and in multiples they do get pumped. Okay, so after tinkering around with it a bit more, here's what I've settled on. So the Merfolk Secret Keepers replace the Grazers because we just want a higher damage output. Like, the deck doesn't really need to ramp to the second land super fast, so just have a higher toughness, which makes it better on offense and defense, even though you'll never use the mill ability. And then changing around some of the 2-drops, so no more Fae of Wishes. Instead, we're going to run a few different things. The second reality chip, we're going to run Tide Drifter, because 0/5, and potentially if you've got multiple of them out, even bigger. Just more damage output. We don't necessarily care about flying. Gretchen Titchwillow, 0/4, and it has an actually relevant ability as opposed to Fae of Wishes ability. And then reduce the tower defense by 1, because there's a lot of times where like we just need a board already going. So if we're in a position where we don't have an already going board, then drawing tower defense is a dead card. Get rid of the turtle because it's too slow and bad, and 8 copies of Huatli plus Assault Formation is already good enough. And then the rest of the deck's basically the same. Cut the access tunnel for Dreamroot Cascade because we just want more blue and green lands. And then by not having turn 1 Grazer and having so much more like blue, we can prioritize blue mana, especially playing the Bark Channel pathways on the other side, so that we don't encounter so many mana problems, including not having to hurt ourselves with the Yavimaya Coast as much. And then the sideboard's mostly the same. Just get rid of the Mightstone and Nissa that were grabbed off of Fae of Wishes, 4 Mystical Disputes, because we really need to counter blue-white control. And potentially, and then there's 3 Shaper Sanctuaries here, is again for matchups like Rakdos Midrange, although it's possible that we also just want to have Spell Pierce versus blue-white control, because we also really need to counter things like Temporary Lockdown. And then I've reduced the Hearse by 1 and added Soulless Jailer because it's another graveyard hate card that's also just a 0/4 creature. So it pairs with our plan that we're already on. I'm still not sure about these counters, and I think it's very possible that these should just be Spell Pierce, and then we have more answers to blue-white control. But overall, this is what I'm going with for now. So I think we'll try this again, and we'll have Big Butts 2.0. Anyways, your media recommendation of the day is Happy Death Day. This is basically what if Groundhog Day was a horror movie, although filled with plenty of comedy as well. I'm not going to lie, it's not high art, but it is a fun time. And I can't really tell you anything else about it. I mean, it's Groundhog Day, there's a time loop, it's a horror movie. Fill in the blanks, enjoy the journey. That's your media recommendation for the day. Also, this movie does have a sequel, and I think the sequel is also fairly good. So if you enjoy the first movie, it also has a sequel that you will probably also enjoy. Welcome back to Butts. We are here to play more Butts, more big Butts. If you are familiar with the last time we played this deck, we've done a little bit of changes. So removed Access Tunnel from the land base, just playing another blue-green land, and then swapping out any creatures that might have somewhat relevant abilities, such as Fae of Wishes and Arboreal Grazer, for more just creatures that are bigger than those. So Merfolk Secret Keeper, even though the adventure mode is completely irrelevant, and Tide Drifter as a 0/5. So what's the basic idea with this deck? We play a bunch of creatures that have huge toughness, and then we use Assault Formation and or Huatli to make it so that they assign damage via their toughness. So we've got Aegis Turtle, which is a 1 mana 0/5, Merfolk Secret Keeper, which is a 1 mana 0/4 with an ability that we will never play, Sidisi's Faithful, which is a 0/4 that we will sometimes sack a creature to bounce something, but mostly we're not going to do that. Dragon's Eye Savants, which is a 2 mana 0/6 that has a morph ability that we'll never pay. Tetsuko Umezawa as a way to make all of our creatures unblockable, except Pride of the Whole Clade, unfortunately, but otherwise everything else is unblockable. The Reality Chip is a 2 mana 0/4 that we can reconfigure to get some card advantage later in the game. We've got Tide Drifter as a 0/5 that if we have multiple Tide Drifters out, they become 0/6s and so on. Tower Defense to pump the toughness by 5 on all of our dudes, so we can potentially just overrun the opponent. Used to have 4 copies of this, down to 3 copies because there's just times where you don't have enough creatures. And then Gretchen Titchwillow as another one of, it's a 0/4 for 2. You can pay 4, draw a card, put a land from your hand on the battlefield. So 4 mana to Growth Spiral. Previously in the deck was Fae of Wishes, and there was a little bit of stuff in the sideboard to get with the granted ability, but it was ultimately just not that great. So I wanted to just focus on creatures that either had more relevant abilities or which were just bigger. So like Gretchen Titchwillow and Chip have better abilities, and Tide Drifter's bigger. Maybe flying will be relevant, and there were a few times where the power on Fae of Wishes actually mattered, like if we didn't have one of the toughness matters cards out. But we're going to try this instead. And then the big one is Pride of the Whole Clade, which is 11 mana, but it's reduced in cost by however the total toughness of our creatures is. So usually this will be pretty cheap. It's usually, depending on how many creatures we have out, it's typically between 1 and 3 mana to cast this. It's the only creature with Defender in our deck, but it has an ability that allows it to stop having Defender, although it is quite expensive. We can also stop it from having Defender via Assault Formation. And Assault Formation also acts as basically an Anthem, depending on how much mana we have. I guess one of the kind of downsides of the deck is not enough card advantage, and we also get blown out by sweepers like Temp Lockdown and Supreme Verdict, but I don't think there's really much of a way to get around that. So sideboard, we've got Shaper's Sanctuary for the high interactivity matchups. This is basically for Rakdos midrange, although I'm not personally that big of a fan of Shaper's Sanctuary, so maybe we'll get rid of that. A bunch of counter spells, so Mystical Dispute for the blue decks. There's 1 Change the Equation, 1 Aether Gust for the red/green decks. 3 Spell Pierce. I want a lot of counters versus blue-white because it's very important that we counter Temp Lockdown on curve, because that's one of the cards that absolutely blows us out. So therefore, that's what Spell Pierce is for the most part. Giganta check, that can run Giganta, so we're going to do that. And then 4 artifacts of various uses. So Stone Brain is just for any sort of combo deck that we need to hit, like Quint or Lotus Field. Unlicensed Hearse for graveyards. Grafdigger's Cage also for graveyards, but it also stops things like Coco and Court of Calling out of Amalia. And then Soulless Jailer is another one of these cards that kind of does something similar. Permanent cards and graveyards can't enter the battlefield. So it's another, and players can't cast non-creature spells from graveyards or exile. So it's sort of another stacks piece effect, but importantly, it's on a 2 mana 0/4 creature, so it doesn't detract from our beatdown game plan. So the main deal here is we just want to play a bunch of cheap creatures that have really high toughness, and then just use the toughness converting into damage cards to make it so that our 1 mana 0/5 is essentially a 1 mana 5/5. Our 1 mana 0/4 is essentially a 1 mana 4/4. Our 2 mana 0/6 is essentially a 2 mana 6/6, and so on. And basically, in combination with these effects, these creatures wind up being way above rate. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into our league. We're on the draw for round 1. Okay, this hand is fine. We've got a curve. Once again, it is a little awkward that we've got Yavimaya Coast in the hand as our only land, so we're taking damage. We're playing against Kahira, so it's blue-white control. Lovely. All right, well, hopefully we can get under them. Hopefully we draw a third land. We just go turn 1, Secret Keeper, turn 2, Tide Drifter, turn 3, Huatli, something like that. I mean, we're not throwing the hand back. All right, play Merfolk Secret Keeper. Hallowed Fountain tapped. All right, if I just play Tide Drifter here instead of Assault Formation, I'm not sure that I'm even going to get the opportunity to get Assault Formation through their counter spells next turn, so let's just do it now. And attack for 4. Oh, temp lockdown. Yep. We get totally blown out. Blue-white control is basically just the deck that says, yeah, you just don't get to have fun. All right, play Tide Drifter, go. I think their answers are too good. It just gives them answers to everything. All right, so right now this is 5, so this costs 6, so it's still way too much. All right, play Huatli. Combat, 4 mana. If it's Wandering Emperor, it's Wandering Emperor. Yeah, of course it is. All right, I'm not continuing this. Another card that I realize I'm growing to absolutely fucking despise is removal spells that are attached to threats. So things like Wandering Emperor, Bone Crusher Giant, where they're not 1-for-1s anymore. Now they're 2-for-1s or better. So you can never actually get through opponent's interaction because you're always down. Anyway, all right, we just bring in all these counter spells. What am I cutting? Let's see. Tetsuko probably. Like anything that's really weak, I guess. Tower defense, I don't know. I feel like I need to hit them really fast. Let's cut a Pride because we're not going to be guaranteed to even have a bunch of creatures in play. Tide Drifter is our worst 2-drop in terms of like it has no abilities and it's not as big as Dragon Eye Savants. There's also just tower defense to cut down on, but I feel like I need to try to kill them quickly. I don't know. Let's cut a tower defense. Let's cut 3 Tide Drifters. Maybe that's not even correct. Maybe I just cut another Pride because it requires that I have other creatures around. All right, let's do that. We don't have a defense card in this hand, so we have to draw it. We also have no counter spells in the hand either. All right, we kind of have to mull this. So let's mull. Wow, this hand's even worse, but I don't want to go to 5. Well, it has Huatli at least, but I don't want to go to 5, so I'm going to keep it and put back Yavimaya Coast. All right, Tentacle, play this. All right, well, we're going to lose because we're just drawing lands, so over to them. Next turn, we play Huatli, they counter it, and then we just lose. All right, play Huatli. Yep, it's countered. I think the gameplay against blue-white control is so bad that if I wasn't paying to enter these events, I would just auto-concede the moment I played against this deck. All right, Huatli. Like, if I was on Arena, I would just concede the instant that I saw it was blue-white control. Shark Typhoon cycled for 1, sure. Attack with this. Free block. I'm going to gain life, because why not? Yeah, Emperor, we lose our dude. All right, I'm conceding. I guess I can put Giganta in my hand. All right, not yet. Play this, play Assault Formation. Over to them. Oh, to Fairy. All right, I concede. I think I would literally rather play any other deck in the format than blue-white control. Like, I would rather play against Lotus Field, Amalia, Greasefang, anything. On the play for round 2. All right, we've got plays, we've got Assault Formation, we're good. So, Sanctum, so DC's Faithful. Grazer. All right, so it is Lotus Field, so we got to get in fast. Play this. I'm going to play Dragon Eyes, because it's not going to be enough speed with just Sidisi's. So it's potentially enough if we go Assault Formation, they block one of our guys, and the next turn we Tower Defense kill them. Potentially. All right, I was hoping we'd draw land there, but we didn't. So play this, Combat, Swing. They block, take 4, go to 16. We have them dead next turn if they don't win. Balaged, Recovery, back the Grazer. All right, they're dead. Whew, we got them. Tower Defense, Swing for 20. Boom. Sideboarding. Just like all the counter spells and Stonebrain. How does Emergent Ultimatum read exactly? Does Soulless Jailer stop it? Search your library for up to 3 monocolor cards with different names, exile them. An opponent chooses, shuffle a card. You may cast the other cards without paying their mana cost. So it's can't cast non-creatures from exile, from graveyards or exile. So it does stop it, except it doesn't stop them from casting like Leer, but it stops them from casting everything else. All right, what am I cutting? Setsuko doesn't matter. We're never going to have the time for like this ability to matter on Gretchen. Reality Chip is also fairly unlikely. What else do we cut? Tide Drifter is the worst creature here. Chip is probably also not great, right? Chip. Let's just assume I'm never reconfiguring this. Still got to cut more. Tide Drifter, some of the Prides. So like that. I don't know how good even Spell Pierce is in this matchup. I don't know. Let's try this. All right. We've got dudes into Assault Formation to kill them. Keep. Reading Pool. All right. Play this. Play the Turtle. Go. Thespian Stage. Sylvan Scrying. Gets Beseiju. Interesting. Well, we can't stop Beseiju, so I guess I just get more stuff down. Play this. So what? I'm going to go Assault Formation, and they just Beseiju it, and then... So I feel like that makes it better to play this now, because then if they choose to do it on their turn, we get an extra land. All right, let's do it now. Swing. To Beseiju, I would like to use the ability. Let's grab Breeding Pool. Then they Lotus Field, eat these lands. Ooh, Stonebrain. It's probably better that we just apply pressure and hold Mystical Dispute up. Although I can't really apply pressure, but I can go... Actually, I can go Tiny Creature, Hulklade, still hold Mystical Dispute up. Yeah, let's do that. So Turtle, Pride, And then we just pass holding up Mystical Dispute for whatever that's worth. All right, they had nothing else to do. Play this. I could Stonebrain them right now, or I can just activate Pride and kill them if they don't have an answer. Yeah, let's do that. Activate Pride. Combat. Swing. Oh, right. It doesn't count its toughness? Huh. Oh, I draw equal to its toughness. All right, so we're drawing a bajillion cards. We've played our land for the turn, right? Yeah, okay. Well, we're going to go to cleanup. Archdruid's Charm. I forgot that this doesn't actually deal damage equal to its toughness. It's just that you draw equal to its toughness. Okay, what am I discarding? Tap land. This one, this one. So yeah, I should have Stonebrained them. Oh well. Get rid of this guy. Get rid of this guy. Get rid of the second Pride because I'm not going to play that. The second Tower Defense. I have a lot of redundant creatures in my hand. Let's get rid of these. I already have sufficient creatures on board to kill them. Let's just discard all of that. How much more do I have to get rid of? Jeez. Get rid of this. Oh, these are all tower defenses. All right, get rid of that. There we go. All right, they didn't kill us. Thankfully. All right, shock this in. We still can't even kill them even if I Huatli here, so it's probably better to just Stonebrain and then hold open Mystical Dispute, or just hold open multiple counters. I don't know. I got a lot of counters. I guess if I play Huatli, I get to attack with these two, and then they're dead in 2 hits, and I still have 2 counters open. Yeah, let's play Huatli. Responds with Dispute. All right, Dispute it back. They're not dead even if I resolve this. Dispute, Spell Pierce. All right, they've conceded anyway. I think they probably think I can attack with the Pride when I can't. Or maybe they just have, like, they're just not anywhere close to comboing. We're on the play for round 3. This hand is good. We've got 1 drops into Assault Formation. We can go turn 1, 1 drop, turn 2, double 1 drop, turn 3 Assault Formation, start attacking. Seems good. Tide Channel, Merfolk. Another Lotus Field deck. All right then. Shock this in, play the Turtle, play the Merfolk. Back to them. The Seiju, I like to see that. Grazer, don't like to see that. Lotus Field. I could bounce this, although even if I don't, they at most block 5 and take 8. All right, let's play Assault Formation. Let's hold on to Beseiju, because there is a universe where they Emergent and grab Omniscience, and we just kill the Omniscience. Yeah, so they block, they take 8. This is lethal next turn. Thespian Stage. It is possible for them to win at this point, as insane as that is. Yeah, start with Vizier, and then you have just enough mana to copy Lotus Field plus cast Hidden Strings. Thespian Stage copies, Hidden Strings. All right, they only got 3 cards left in their hand. How bad could it be? All right, they didn't kill us, so I'm assuming they've got Otawara or something. All right, I'm definitely shocking this in. Combat, swing. Nope, they just didn't have anything. All right. Well, bring all this in again. What was this last time? We cut 2 Pride, Tower, Gretchen, Chip, all these guys, right? No. Maybe I leave in Tower Defense. Speed is the key in this matchup. Honestly, maybe Pride is bad in this matchup. It's really hard to be in a position where we can attack with it because it only attacks. We don't want to spend 4 mana to activate it, and it doesn't attack otherwise unless we have Assault Formation. So maybe this guy honestly just comes out. I kind of want the Legends so that Beseiju is cheaper to channel. All right, let's do that. Well, we've got a lot of defense, but no actual way to attack them, so we're going to have to mold this. 1 land, and we can't really do anything. All right, mold a 5. All right, well, I guess I'm keeping this and putting back Tower Defense and a land. All right, Botanical Sanctum. Go. Should hold this open in case they cast Sylvan Scrying this turn. Breeding Pool. Yep, Sylvan, Spell Pierce. All right, well, not doing much else, so let's just shock this in, play Dragon Eye. I guess technically I could wait and morph it, but that seems atrocious. Well, they have Lotus Field anyway. All right, well, play this, and we get to play a Turtle. Back to them. Another land for them, they're doing nothing. Back to us, another Turtle. Back to them. The Seiju as their land, 5 mana for poor, counter that. Ooh, the Stonebrain, although I have to lose Aether Gust to do it, it's probably better to just do it. Stonebrain, back to them. Plays another Lotus Field, floating some mana. Beseiju the Stonebrain. All right. Okay, they got 3 cards in hand, we're not doing anything. Am I ever going to have the time to cast Gigantha? I guess I'll wait until I maybe have another land. All right, play the Turtle. If we ever draw a defense card, we can kill them in 1 hit. 6 mana. Plays Otawara. 4, can't counter that. I mean, we can counter Emergent. That's basically it. Even if we do, they're only 1 land away from just being able to play it again anyway. Dark Petition, can't counter it. And they can use that to just go grab another Pour, and then Pour again. Path of Peril to kill all of our guys. All right. I mean, at least they're not winning the game. Sure. Oh my gosh, another Turtle. Do I go Shields down yet? They obviously searched for a freaking Sweeper. They have 3 cards in their hand. I guess we just play another turtle and pass. Archdruid's Charm. I mean, even if I counter this, they just play it again next turn, so sure, that resolves. I assume they're going to grab Leer. Yeah, okay. Which we also can't stop. And then once Leer hits the board, we're basically dead. All right, Leer hits the board. They've got 2 mana left over. They can't win right now, but they can win next turn. Yep, there's Leer. We finally drew our toughness card. Finally. Combat. Attack with the turtle. All right, they're at 13. And they have access to their entire graveyard. Casts Pour. Flashback Pour. Dark Petition. Why am I even continuing this game? Like, okay, they go and eventually grab Emergent Ultimatum and I gust it, and then I'm untapping and doing what? I'm still losing. I guess what? If I just like happen to draw Soulless Jailer afterwards? No, because then they just Archdruid's Charm, fight it. Hidden Strings. Emergent. Gus. They're flashing back Archdruid's Charm in response. Okay. Grabs Vizier. Oh, so they can just Lotus. Yeah, okay, sure. I don't know if they technically have it now or not, but we're going to lose. So let's just move to the next game. Well, the fact that they're running Path of Peril makes me want Pride of the Hulklade a little more. This would normally be good, but not when they have Leer. It's probably just generally not that good. Let's cut that. Change the equation can hard counter a Strings or a Sylvan Scrying. Not much else. I guess it can also hard counter Archdruid's Charm. Let's see. I'll cut 1 Merfolk Secret Keeper. That, or is it just better to cut Savants? I guess Savants. 1 mana better than 2 mana. All right, let's do this. Is Hearst better than anything in the main deck to combat Leer? I don't think you want to bring in Hearst just to combat Leer because it does literally nothing else. All right, we've got a guy, we've got counters, and we got Huatli. Keep. 3 mana does seem to be a sticking point for this deck. A lot of times you need it for Huatli. A lot of times you need it regardless, even if you have Assault Formation, just because you want to have 1 extra mana. Opponent mulls to 5. All right, pool, Merfolk, play the Hedge Maze. All right, there's a land. So play this, and we have literally nothing to do, so let's just pass. Wait, they binned Chandra? I guess they can always just get it back with Bala Ged, right? Yeah. Plays a tap land. All right, play Huatli. Attack for 4. Sylvan Scrying. There's the Lotus Field. I wish I had more of a claw. Ooh, I can just Stonebrain Chandra out of their deck. I guess let's do that. Target. Chandra. Hope. Okay. Take the Chandra. They don't have a second one, right? Yeah. So what's their way to win the game now? It's Leer attacks or Lair of the Hydra attacks, right? They don't have, or I guess they can attack with like Vizier. So basically Lair is their way to win now. Archdruid's Charm can fight stuff and put a +1 counter on things. Yeah. So we basically just have to be wary of what? A really big Lair of the Hydra? All right. Combat. Swing with the Merfolk. Cycles Vizier, which will give them enough mana to play Pour. Sylvan Scrying. Oh, they can just go grab, yeah, Thespian's Copy, sure. All right, so now we're going to counter Pour next turn. So this is the only time when, let's see, they untap, they play Beseiju, they tap Pour. They'll have 2 extra mana lying around, so we can dispute it. So this is the only time I'm going to have probably to get Gigantha into my hand. Attack with Merfolk. Plays Beseiju, Pour, dispute. Narset's Reversal. Sure, just ridiculous. All right, so they get to double Pour. So, I mean, they can do a lot, but they can't actually win this turn now that Chandra's gone. Pour again. Because now that Archdruid's Charm exists, I always have to be wary of them instant speeding the Lair into play. Emergent. Oh, man. So if I just had not put Gigantha in my hand last turn, I could have stopped all this. So it's the same pile as usual. So I guess I just put Dark Petition back in their deck. Okay, if I give them Omniscience, then all the counter spells in my hand are dead. So I guess I don't give them Omniscient. But if I don't, yeah, well, I mean, they can Dark Petition for it, but they can't quite cast it yet. So, all right, let's put Omniscience back. So Dark Petition, Pour. I assume they're either grabbing Lair or they're grabbing Archdruids to grab Lair because it's the best payoff for them at this point. They just play Leer as well, then instantly all the counterspells in our hand die. Oh, they just have enough to play Omniscience anyway? All right. No, they're playing Leer, which lets them continue to churn through their deck. There's no Archdruid's Charm yet, but they're going to find it. Flashing back, Dark Petition. Okay, yeah, so all the counterspells in my hand are dead anyway. So, and Gigantha I can't even play. Not that if I could play it would even be good. Does anyone else find it to be a problem that you can cranial extract the combo deck's win condition out of their deck and it doesn't even matter? They can still just win anyway? Maybe you just don't name Chandra and you name Emergent because it's the best thing they have for putting a bunch of stuff into play. Well, I mean, I can't counter their stuff anyway, so I may as well just play Gigantha, I suppose. Combat, swing, play this, play Gigantha, and let's just gain some life. Back to them. Hidden Strings, Omniscient, cast Sylvan Scrying. Grabs the Lair, plays the Lair. They only have 1 mana left over, though. I mean, they have 5 other cards in their hand. Yeah, okay. Pour over the pages. So how much do they have? Pour Hidden Strings, pour. So they can draw 12. They can basically draw their entire deck. Sylvan Scrying. Goes and grabs Otawara. So they can do what? Bounce Gigantha. They can't kill this unless they have Archdruid's Charm, but they, I mean... Oh, they discarded Beseiju. All right. Pour over the pages. It's kind of like how it doesn't even matter if you kill Amalia, because they'll just return to the ranks it back into play along with all their other creatures. Pour over the pages. Hidden Strings can also tap stuff, right? So I can't even block. You may tap or untap. Yeah, so next turn they can just go tap your guys down, make Hydra Gigantic attack. Or just use Otawara. Archdruid's Charm. Search your deck for a thing. Vizier. Hidden Strings. Untapping Lotus Field. I mean, what do they even like need all this mana for at this point? They can't attack with the layer yet because they just played it. I guess it doesn't hurt to just get it into their graveyard, right? Hidden Strings again. 22 mana. All right. Pour over the pages. Balaged Recovery on Hidden Strings. Hidden Strings, tap Gigantha, untap Lotus Field. Okay, so they're going to, what, Archdruid the Leer killed Huatli, so we can't hit them. Balaged, return Hidden Strings. Okay. Cycle Vizier. Hidden Strings. Are they out of hit? I'm just going to pop their graveyard open. So they still have 2 Hidden Strings in their graveyard. Thespian Stage becomes a copy of Lair. Oh. And then they can untap the Lair and make the Lair huge. Gotcha. So they can actually win on this turn. Vizier, untap the Lair. So yeah, then they untap some more. They make green mana, make Lair gigantic, and then we lose. Yeah, just absolutely ridiculous. All right. All right. On the play for round 4. 1 land, Mull. Okay. Keep this. Oh my gosh, it's like I want to throw back Assault Formation, but we don't know what we're playing, and if it's Rakdos mid or something, and then they just slot these this, then we just lose on the spot. So I guess I throw back a land. I'm gonna put back Breeding Pool. Yeah, because then I can go Tide Channel, the next turn Forest. Okay, so Tide Channel, Turtle. Looks like it's Rakdos after all. Thoughtseize, Well, thank goodness. So if I were them, I'd just take Chip. Yeah, Chip. All right then. The Thoughtseize bug is real, so let's just start bashing them. Attack. And now all I gotta do is play any removal spell on this, and we're in a terrible position. Blood Crypt, tapped. Fatal Push. Yep. All right, shock this in, put Gigantha into the hand. Fable. Well, we have no blockers or... Yeah, can't even play Huatli here, it just gets killed. I mean, is there any reason to play a second Assault Formation? They don't have a way to get rid of enchantments, presumably. But I have nothing else to do. I mean, we just lose the game now, right? This gets to attack, they get to filter their hand. We've just got nothing going on. We're going to lose. Let's just move to the next game. Okay, Rakdos. This one, Gust, I suppose. Kind of want Spell Pierce. I definitely want Shapers. They have enough non-creature spells that I think Spell Pierce is actually relevant. All right, so I think Tower Defense is probably not relevant. Their deck is filled with creatures and removal. And Tetsuko can be relevant in this matchup. So what else? I'm going to get rid of a lot. So probably Tide Drifter is the default thing to get rid of if I'm unsure of what to get rid of. I want to bring in all of this. Yeah, so let's just get rid of Tide Drifter. Size of the creatures doesn't matter when every removal spell just kills them all anyway. Ooh, turn 1 Shapers. All right, play this, play Shapers. Over to them. Black Cleave, Duress. There goes Huatli. All right, let's just play Gretchen before they Thoughtseize it. Hive into Croxa. Sure, I'll discard... I guess Merfolk. All right, play Dragon Eye. Play a tap land, over to them. The problem is without a Defense Matters card, they don't have to actually cast any removal spells on these. They can just completely ignore them. All right, well, I guess I'm just going to start activating Gretchen, so back to them. The fact that they're not playing anything leads me to believe it's going to be Sheoldred, invalidating all this. All right, Fable, sure. Tap land. I guess it's not Sheoldred. Activate Gretchen. Ooh, Reality Chip. Oh, there's Assault Formation. All right, there we go. Assault Formation, Combat, Swing for 10. No blocks, boom, Reality Chip. Actually, Reality Chip, no. Let's play another dragon. Dragon Eye, Savant. Fable Trigger, discards Thoughtseize, Takanuma. I was thinking about this one, but I'm like, I'm not going to reconfigure it, so the damage actually does matter in terms of them being able to block stuff. Fatal Push one of our dudes, draw a card off of Shapers. They get an attack with the Shaman. All right, we're at 16. They have to have a blocker to follow up, or removal, I guess. Aklat 4/4, flying lifelink. Whenever it attacks, each opponent discards. If they can't, you draw. Whenever opponent discards a land, you make a 1/1 flyer. All right, well, we can trade with this at the very least, with the Gretchen. When it dies, you return it as a land. I mean, we're not going to not attack. If I play Chip and Configure, I can't do anything with that right now. So the alternative is just like activating Gretchen and trying to hit a land, but I don't think that's great either. I'm definitely, like, I guess I don't have to attack with this. What's the condition on this? Each opponent discards. If they can't, you draw. I can just discard Assault Formation, I suppose. So if I just attack with Dragon's Eye, it means their blocks aren't good. If I don't have to lose Gretchen, right? Because I can activate Assault Formation. So I can make it so that this just comes back as a land. All right, so let's go to combat. Swing here. It coming back as a land is okay. So block there. Activate Assault Formation. Damage. This thing dies. They take some damage. Oh, does that thing have lifelink? Oh, it does. All right. Play chip. Top card's a land. So then Fable flips over. They're one card away from being able to get Kroxa back. Transform this. What's the condition? If a player has one or fewer cards in hand and only is a sorcery. Oh, so they can transform it. But it'll transform tapped because it doesn't exile. Okay. Fatal Push on Reality Chip. Draw. Well, now they can't transform it, but now they can play Kroxa. And then the only creature that can attack into it is Dragon Eye. Fatal Push the Dragon Eye. Well, draw a card. Can't believe they're keeping up with this. All right. Kroxa returns. We're going to discard Assault Formation. Then they hit with the Shaman. Get treasure. I guess I can double block this Kroxa if it attacks. Ooh, Huatli. That actually isn't helpful at this point. Oh, man. What am I doing? Attacking means I would have to double pump just to trade, so that's terrible. We're not doing that. So I can go Turtle, put Giganta in my hand. If they attack, I discard Huatli and dual block. I can also just activate Gretchen, right? I should leave up enough mana to activate Gretchen. So Turtle. Yeah, I shouldn't put Giganta in my hand because I want to activate this. Because even getting Giganta here is not really very good. I don't know. Maybe it is good. It's quite expensive, though. If I do it now, the only one drop I can play that I would cast is Sidisi's, which I would do because I would bounce Kroxa to their hand. No, I wouldn't. Maybe I would. No, I would just play it as a creature anyway. All right, so activate Gretchen. Green. Well, Pride of the Hulklade's quite the draw. Oh, no. We're one off of actually being able to play it? Jeez. All right, over to them. Swing. Discard Huatli. Man, if they just have a removal spell here, it's so bad if we block this. All right, I'm not going to block. We're at 8. This thing flips over, but it's still tapped. Plays another Fable. Okay. Well, they do have to block both of these guys, but they have 3 blockers. So if I attack... Actually, they don't have to block both. They have to... No, they do have to... No, they don't have to block both because Gretchen's not lethal. So this is only sorcery speed, right? No, it's instant speed. So I can attack with both, and then they can just choose to block with both, and then I only have one blocker of my own, and we're dead on the backswing. So I can't attack here. Man, that sucks. Okay, so Pride... for 2, and then I can either put Giganta in my hand or I can just leave Gretchen activation. So what's the blocks? Assuming they activate Hive, I can't block here, so I go to 4. They attack with everything else. This triggers. I have to have a thing in my hand so I don't lose life, so that can be Giganta. So block, block, block. We take 7. All right, put Giganta in my hand. So if they attack, I resolve Kroxa's ability first, and then this thing, they draw a card? Sure. Oh, they have the mana left over to make a copy of a thing. Oh, so we're dead. Because that one treasure from last turn. Brilliant. Thought sees us anyway. All right, we're dead. I hate Rakdos so much. I don't understand. If you're going to like FNMs or the RC circuit, I don't understand how you have fun in this format. I guess the RC circuit isn't Pioneer right now. If it was Pioneer or last season, I don't understand how you have fun with it. We're on the draw for the final round. All right, this hand is fine. We're against the Giganta deck. Spire Bluff. Oh, so it's in Soul. Okay, play this tapped, go. Do you know when the YouTube EDH deck text will become public, or will it be a gradual release? I've had them all scheduled for a while, and every time that I want to publish them, I play more leagues, and I'm like, well, I got to release these leagues now because they're timely, you know? So I wound up moving the schedule of the EDH deck. So basically, other videos take priority, essentially. So it's Phoenix with Giganta? So it's not in Soul? Okay, it's Phoenix with Giganta. All right, let's get Tide Drifter down, I guess. The EDH videos were already supposed to be releasing, but I just keep doing more leagues and pushing them back. Pononop. It's also unfortunate that nearly all of my creatures die to Lightning Axe. Otherworldly Gaze, so they're on the Gaze variant, and they gazed 3 lands away. It's fair, looking forward to them. I hope you enjoy them. There's a lot of them. I have videos scheduled, so it's currently February 9th. I have videos scheduled all the way into late May. Treasure Cruise. Okay, so... we play Assault Formation, and then I can't play anything else this turn, but oh well. I guess I could play, what? No, if I play Gretchen, I'm short on the Pride, right? Because that's 9. Yeah, all right, so let's play Assault Formation and start bashing them. And get this through any potential spell pierces. It's possible that that's not correct, and I should just be deploying more creatures. Because doing it this way opens up the opportunity for them to Lightning Axe this. Whereas the other way, I could have gone like Gretchen, and then I could have followed up with Assault plus Pride in the same turn, or just Tower Defense to kill them. You know what, now that I think about it, I probably should have just done that instead. I'm just paranoid that they're going to leave open Spell Pierce and that I'm not going to be able to resolve this. I guess I could have resolved it next turn even through a Spell Pierce, though. Yeah, I should have done it the other way. They didn't bin any of the cards off of Gaze. Tapped Steam Vents. Shredder. All right. I like them tapping out. Oh my god, double Tower Defense? There's no way they're going to block, right? So we're just going to go double Tower Defense, kill you. Combat. Attack. Tower Defense. Tower Defense. Opponent is stun locked. Can't even believe they just lost to this draft bullshit. All right. Mystical, Spell Pierce. Most of our creatures survive their burn spells. It's just Lightning Axe is the only one that kills our guys, but like all the other ones don't kill any of our guys. So I don't think I even really want Shaper's Sanctuary. I definitely want Unlicensed Hearse. Grafdigger's Cage so that Phoenix can't come back. Soulless Jailer so that Phoenix can't come back. So I want all of this. What do I not want? Tetsuko gets killed by Impulse. I don't want that. What else? I do have to cut a fair amount of things. Huatli's probably worse in this matchup than it is normally because all their creatures fly, but at the same time, I don't know if we can ever cut these cards. So let's see. This one's not necessarily about speed. And even though Tower Defense gives reach, that's not even that great because their Phoenixes just come back the next turn anyway. So feel like we cut these. And then Tide Drifters. We got to make one more cut. I'll cut one Merfolk Secret Keeper. So it's just Phoenix with Giganta. Sure. One land not keepable. All right, far more keepable. I guess we put back an Assault formation. Although this hand's not great either. We've basically got turn to Assault formation, hope it gets through a Spell Pierce, and then our hand's really not doing anything else. All right, Botanical, holding up counters. Cast Consider. Yeah, that's fine. I'm more likely to save counters for their counters or for Treasure Cruise. Lava Glide, Path. All right, I don't want to risk jamming Assault formation to a Spell Pierce, so let's just play Dragon Eye. And then we can do this next turn with a counter up. Stormcarved Coast. They didn't cast anything last turn, so they had no instant speed stuff. Ledger Shredder. All right. Play Assault formation. It resolved immediately. Combat. Attack. Do you like 2 mana 6/6s? I do. Opt. Resolve. Prismari command targeting. Wait, why are they targeting this? Oh, because they're going to have Lightning Axe. Let's just counter it. Let's allow Shredder to resolve first. Yeah, all right. Counter that. It keeps them off of their third spell for the turn, and it keeps this guy from dying. I assume they were planning to follow that up with Treasure into Lightning Axe to kill it, and that would have also brought this Phoenix back. Okay, then. So, play this. How much does this cost to play right now? It's reduced by 6, so I still can't play it, right? Yeah, it's 5 mana. All right, let's just attack with the Dragon Eyes. Swing. I think I actually pumped this so that it's always threatening lethal from now on, even though that doesn't let me hold up Double Dispute. But it threatens lethal every turn after that, although they can just keep bringing Phoenix back. Maybe I do just hold up Mystical Dispute in case they cast Treasure Cruise or something. They cannot possibly be contemplating blocking here, right? All right, maybe they have... I've struck fear into them with the previous tower defenses from last game, so they're blocking with their Shredder. All right, let's just hold up Mystical Dispute. So now we have an uncontested Dragon Eye. Otherworldly Gaze, sure. Oh, they're doing this in upkeep. Mills over, opt, Ledger Shredder. Consider. We're not going to consider countering anything other than Treasure Cruise. Took the card, plays Shivan Reef. That looks like a Treasure Cruise if I ever saw one. There's the Treasure Cruise. All right, counter that. Get out of here, Treasure Cruise. Flashbacks, Gaze, sure. All right, counter the Treasure Cruise. Then the Phoenix comes back. Certainly they're not going to attack with it. It's just going to be a blocker. Yeah, all right. Combat. Attack. They block. All right, at this point, I think I am actually going to tap out for Pride. So... shock this in, play Pride, because this creature also just threatens lethal on its own. Lightning Axe, the Dragon Eye, discard Phoenix. Treasure Cruise. They had another Treasure Cruise in their hand. All right, well. Oh, but that means they didn't have a burn spell, so this is not necessarily dying. Opt. All right, so they're going to get 2 Phoenixes back, and they can't possibly afford to attack with either one of them. Another Dispute. All right, Assault formation. Target here. Combat. I guess they can trade with the Dragon Eye, right? I really don't want to let them do that. Let's just attack with Pride. Actually, no, I can attack with both of them because even if they double block, I can just pump it with Assault formation. Block, block. Oh, and they can't double block because they have to block Pride. Damage. I'm just going to keep holding up Mystical Disputes, even though they're getting increasingly worse. Otherworldly Gaze. Mills, a land and Spell Pierce. Opt. Flashback Gaze. I know I can counter that, but I'm not going to. Mills over, Pierce, opt, land. Cast Ledger Shredder. All right, I will counter that. Get out of here, Ledger Shredder. All right, the Phoenixes come back. They can't attack with them. It's back to our turn. If I bounce one to their hand right now, they block Pride. They take 7-ish. It's not worth it. Combat. Oh, I meant to pump Pride or activate this on Pride. Well, that was dumb of me. All right, swing with Dragon Eye. Block, block. All right, activate Assault Formation. Haha, he kills both your Phoenixes anyway. Okay, play this dude. No exploiting. Back to them. They only got one card in whatever they're drawing this turn. Sleight of Hand. All right, so Sleight of Hand's done. What are we doing next? They have no gazes left, right? Yeah, they're out of gazes. Prismari Command. All right, we'll counter that. Spell Pierce. What are they even doing? They're looting and making a treasure. All right, so they still have the 3 spells for the turn. So then they loot both of these to their graveyard. They looted away to burn spells. And then they're completely at the mercy of whatever they draw next turn. All right, play this. Assault Formation on Pride. Combat. Attack with everything. They have to block these 2, and then I can Pride onto the Sidisi's Faithful and draw 4 cards. Activate, targeting here. Blue, blue, this one, this one. All right, Phoenixes die again. We draw 4 cards. All right, play this dude. They're also just drawing randomly off the top, so they could just brick and lose. Puts Giganta in their hand. Okay. Prismari Command. So they're going to try to see if they can loot into, like, double cantrips back-to-back or something. So yeah, loot, create treasures. Discards Giganta, discards a land. All right, we got it. So only 2 and 3. All right. So first of all, there's just a lot of playing around with numbers that you'd probably need to do in order to figure out whether certain cards are worth it. Like, does this deck actually want to play Access Tunnel so that in situations like that, we can just make Pride unblockable? Do we want the 4th tower defense? What are the best creatures to play on 1s and 2s? What is exactly the sideboard cards that we want? The deck has a big problem with a couple of things. First of all, high interactivity stuff like Rakdos and especially blue-white control. Anything that can like counter or otherwise get rid of the Assault Formations and Huatlis. Because if you don't have one of these in play, then your creatures just don't do anything. Another problem that the deck has is it is naturally inconsistent. Even with 8 copies of Huatli / Assault Formation, there are still even times where you just don't have them, and then your creatures don't do anything. It's kind of the Boggles problem, where, you know, you're drawing the wrong half of your deck. Basically, if you don't draw these, all your creatures do nothing. If you draw these but you don't have enough creatures, or maybe you draw like 1 creature, they kill it, and then you're just left with an Assault Formation in play and nothing to attack with. So there's problems in that regard. The issue is the only way to fix that would be to go into 3 colors, which I'd previously been avoiding. It's not impossible to be 3 colors, though. So let's take a look at what are the white cards that we would have access to if we were going to change this. In particular, we're looking for either higher toughness per cost for what we're doing, or relevant abilities. So if you take a look at the cards that are the Defense Matters enabling cards, so obviously right now we're playing Assault Formation and Huatli. You don't necessarily have to be green because Huatli is hybrid to white, and so you could just also play High Alert. But then we're still left with the same problem of only having 8 copies. And if we don't have green, we don't get to play Pride. So if we look at the other cards, we've got stuff like Belligerent Brontodon, which is 7 mana. So right away we can discount that because we're not going to run that. Then there is Bedrock Tortoise, which I did have as a 1-of in the previous version of the deck. And it's possible that you just want more, but being 4 mana is a lot. There's also Arcades. But the problem with Arcades is he only applies to defenders. So we could completely retool the deck to only include defenders, is one possibility. Then there's Ancient Lumberknot, which is the same sort of idea, but it's in the wrong colors in black. There's Gauntlets of Light, but this only applies to the 1 creature that it's enchanting. Similarly, there's Streetwise Negotiator backup, but this only applies to the 1 creature it's backing up. There's Walking Bulwark, but I don't like the idea that you have to pay 2 mana in order to actually make a creature be able to attack. I feel like that's too much. And then there's Solid Footing, but this only applies to creatures with Vigilance, and it doesn't apply to defenders. So if we then take a look at the cards in... So let's assume that we're going to play Bant, right? So that we can include High Alert, because I think High Alert would be the main card that we would include. Maybe Arcades, but primarily it's High Alert is the addition to the deck. So we're filtering by only creatures that cost 1 and have a toughness of at least 3. Preferably we want more than that though, but let's say 3 is the minimum for what we'll accept in the Bant colors. So The previous version of the deck was playing Grazer, and I found Grazer to be sort of not that great. We typically didn't really need to ramp into the land super fast, although having one extra toughness on something like a Merfolk Secret Keeper that has no relevant abilities was not that different either. Then white has about 1 million copies of 1 mana creatures that are 0/4s. There's just an absolute ton of them. They're mostly essentially vanilla creatures in that their abilities are not that relevant. So like Errant Street Artist has haste and flash, but I doubt that that's relevant. We're mostly going to be deploying creatures prior to playing the defense cards. Godpharaoh's Faithful is slightly relevant with its life gain ability against, I guess, burn specifically, but not very much. There's also Market Gnome, which if they kill it, you get to draw a card, but it's only a 0/3, and you don't have a way to make sure that it dies. So again, not that great. I mean, there's plenty of cards like Ruin Crab. Who cares? We don't care about milling our opponent. Secret Door is a gigantic mana outlet, but we're not presenting that much mana to begin with, and its Venture into the Dungeon ability is not very good. There's Cerulean Caretaker, which can potentially add mana by tapping other things. This could be relevant as well. It's kind of falling into the same category as Arboreal Grazer. And then Wall of Runes Scries, which is also just kind of whatever. So as you can see, the creature quality that you get from adding white is not really any different to what we already have, at least at 1 mana. So let's look at 2 mana. So once we're at 2 mana, we definitely want at the minimum 4 toughness. And there's cards that are typically good, like Bishop of Wings, obviously, in the Angel decks, but we have no Angels, so this ability is irrelevant. There's also lots of creatures with Defender. The reason that I don't like creatures with Defender and will prioritize not having them is because Huatli doesn't allow defenders to attack, and Assault Formation requires you to pay mana to attack with them. High Alert and Arcades are the only ones that allow defenders to attack without you having to pay. So let's say you've got a bunch of defender creatures and the defense matter card that you drew for that game happens to be Huatli, well then you can't attack with them. And even in that case, the highest toughness creatures are not even ones with defender, like Aegis Turtle and Dragon's Eye Savants don't even have defender to begin with. Anyway, there's Corridor Monitor for untapping, there's Dauntless Dismantler as a way to mess with opponents' artifacts, but that's not really too big of a deal. Fae of Wishes we played in the last iteration of the deck, it was okay, not great. White gives you Giant Ox, which gives you a second copy of a 0/6, as opposed to Dragon's Eye. There's Ghost Shintai, which is basically just the same thing as Fae of Wishes. Obviously, we played Gretchen in this version. Jeskai Barricade has Flash and lets you bounce a thing back to your hand, which is going to be barely relevant in this deck. The only real relevance it has is, like, saving a creature from a sweeper, but then you're losing the Barricade anyway. This thing can sack itself to draw a card, which is, again, not that great. This creature has Vigilance. This is actually an upgrade because it lets you race other aggro decks. Nyx Fleece Ram also gains you a life every turn. Again, that's not that relevant. It also is a 0/5, so better than the 4 toughness minimum. Turtle has Flash. Again, I don't really think Flash is important in this deck. Surge Mare. I discounted playing this because the double blue pips is kind of rough. Plus, I just don't think the abilities it gives you are that great to begin with. Thing in the Ice, we're not playing instants and sorceries, so we're not going to flip this. And then that's pretty much it for all of the 2 drops. So as you can see, it's not really an upgrade in creature quality by playing white. Really, the only reason to do white would be if we're really starving for more defense matter cards, so Arcades / High Alert. But if we are going to go all the way up to 4 mana for Arcades, we may as well just play the Bedrock Tortoise. So at that point, it's really just for High Alert, which maybe the deck could need. But anyways, all of that aside, it's not really dealing with the primary problem the deck has of we're just kind of a dog against like blue-white control and interactive matchups. Also, we're not as fast as other combo decks, for example. So like, you know, we can't always race Lotus Field. So I think this deck is going to be firmly planted in tier 2 or lower. Obviously, there's additional iterations on the deck that could be done that I think maybe could improve it to the point where it would be a legitimate tier 2 deck. I don't think the deck can get up to the point where it's a tier 1 deck, though. What do you think about transformative sideboards that focus on switching the archetype around? I was thinking about making it so the sideboard of my Urabrask combo deck made it into a Scuffed Izzet Prowess. So the transformative sideboard, basically you have to think about, okay, when you have a transformative sideboard, you're essentially saying this deck's game plan is so bad versus some matchup that I want to just completely change what it's doing. And you have to think about the ratio of how bad is that? How good does transforming it, and how many slots for sideboard cards are you losing by having all of these transform into another deck cards in your sideboard, and how important are those cards that you're losing. In general, I think transformative sideboards are usually not worth it, but they sometimes are. In this deck in particular, I don't see how you could really transform it. The whole deck basically relies on this Defense Matters game plan and is an aggro deck. I don't really see how you can change it. I mean, the most changing it is you become more controlling with counter spells after sideboard, but it's not even really that much of a change. So anyways, if you like the look of the deck and enjoy big butts, then I would recommend you take this deck for a spin. I would start off with something approximating this build, and I would explore adding white for high alert, because I do think you need more ways of consistently having Toughness Matters cards. One other issue with the deck is that you just really don't have answers to what your opponent's doing. Like main deck, basically the only card in the deck that's interacting with the opponent is Sidisi's Faithful, and that's just a bounce spell. And you're a blue-green deck, so post board, all you get is counter spells. So if your opponent has permanents that are a really big problem, like for example a Shieldred, then you just really don't have much of a way to deal with those. Anyways, your butt-themed media recommendation of the day is Bicycle Thief, or Bicycle Thieves. It has two different titles, as it's known by. This is a movie from the 1940s. I believe it's an Italian film, and the basic premise is there is an economic recession, jobs are scarce, and this single father is one of many people who's unemployed, and he's looking to get a job from the government employment office. And there is one job available, and it is as a bike courier. I believe it's just like delivering parcels. And he has a bike, but his bike gets stolen, which means he's ineligible for the job, because you have to own a bike in order to be eligible for the job. So the whole movie is him going around and trying to locate his stolen bike. And it's basically a display of the economic poverty at the time and how everyone in this era is living. I can't really give more details on the plot beyond that without giving spoilers. So other than that, I just say recommend Bicycle Thief. And that's going to do it for the butts for today.